Hi, how are you going? Now, do you have a quiz on your website or as part of your digital marketing? Did you know that if you have a quiz, you can actually identify different types of users that are coming to your website based on their responses to your quiz? And then you can use that in your analytics to work out what kinds of people are having a better conversion rate and what they're doing across your website. So this is actually an area that if you're a bit more advanced in your digital marketing, you may well have wanted to try out a quiz. There's a popular book called Ask by Ryan Levesque. And in that book, he talks about asking users what their biggest challenge is with whatever the topic is that you're selling, essentially, and then using that information to put people into different buckets so that you can sell to them differently. So I think one example that he gave was golfers and trying to find out if their biggest, or it might have been tennis, it was one or the other. Basically, was their biggest challenge their golf swing, or was their biggest challenge some other thing, basically. It's been a little while since I read the book. And what he was able to do was, by finding out what the biggest challenge was they had, he was able to split them into different groups, give them a different messaging in terms of the actual sales that went to that person, and then he was able to follow up that different messaging for emails, and he was able to personalize the types of content that was on the website. Now that's pretty advanced, but you might have a quiz anyway, even if you're not going to all the details that are in that book. You might just have a quiz to get to know your people better. But what you can actually do, you can still use that information to find out if you get a higher conversion rate from one group or another. So let's say you're selling a course and you're wanting to find out if your users are generally beginners, intermediate, or advanced users of your topic. You can send them to a quiz. First of all, to get their responses, they have to sign up with an email address, so you get a lead out of it. And then when they complete their quiz, you can find out which of those camps they went into. Now you can have it set up automatically so that all of that gets passed into your analytics, and then not only can you identify more information about the different groups coming to your website, but you can also send those different audiences to campaigns on Facebook or Google Ads, YouTube, whatever you like. So that can, email as well, obviously. That can be super, super helpful with your digital marketing. So, all right. Now, given that I'm a bit of a technical nerd, I'm going to tell you how to do it from the analytics perspective. So one of these tools that I was using recently within the last week or so, there's a quiz maker called tryinteract. Look, there's plenty of other ones out there. You want to make sure that if you want to hook it into your analytics so that you can pass it into different places, you want to make sure that you have one that enables Google Analytics. So this tryinteract one does enable Google Analytics, and helpfully it has cross-domain tracking enabled, which means that if someone comes to your tryinteract quiz, you're able to find out the original marketing source of that person, not just the fact that they came from tryinteract. So that's really helpful when you're looking for a product, to make sure that it has Google Analytics access and that it has cross-domain tracking enabled. Usually you can find this out by, if you do a search on their tutorials on their website and type in Google Analytics, it should come up with a help file, how to implement Google Analytics with this quiz builder. And the majority of them that do implement Google Analytics are likely to have cross-domain tracking enabled. There's going to be a few exceptions, but I won't be able to, well, I could do the research and find out which ones, but there's going to be a new one minutes after I send this video out, so there's not much point. Basically, you want to look out for that kind of information in a tutorial. All right, so let's say you're using tryinteract, because I know that one works. So what you want to do is you want to set the final page for any of the answers. So basically the way the quiz works is you map different questions to different values, and then at the end the quiz builder will add up all the values and automatically send a person to a final page which tells them what thing they are. Like, congratulations, you're a beginner, or congratulations, you're advanced. Or if someone's following some of the social ones from just trying to think of what the URLs, but there's a whole lot of really sites that just have popular meme style quizzes, and they'll be like, what type of fruit are you? Or which Star Wars character are you? Which character from The Simpsons are you? So whatever the answer is, whatever it comes to, you want to have a separate landing page on your website that can take that person as the beginning of their journey, I guess. So you don't want to have exactly the same page for every single one, because the way the tool works is most of the actual quiz interaction happens on the quiz website, and it will be installed on your website as it's called an iframe, and basically your website acts as a host for the quiz, but the quiz itself is located on the other website. That makes sense. So in the case of tryinteract, the actual quiz, the actual software running the quiz is on tryinteract's website, but your website is acting as the host for this iframe, which encloses the quiz in it. Hopefully that makes some sense. So, but what that means though is when someone's doing the quiz, you can't track them on your website because they're actually not on your website. I know that sounds really bizarre, but it's just the way it is. You can't track someone when they're doing things, when they're doing things in the actual iframe itself. Okay, so what happens is when they finish the quiz, they then get sent over to your website, and this is why you want to have it set up so it has a different page depending on which fruit they are or which Star Wars character. And what you want to do then is you want to, you could actually stop there, to be honest. You could stop there and say, right, well, these are the different pages. But to make it easier on yourself, it's actually easier for you to read the data later if you do a techie step. So the next step that you actually want to do is set up a custom dimension in your Google Analytics. And what you want to do is call this custom dimension something like quiz answer. And you can make it as generic as you like, or if you've got multiple quizzes, call it the Star Wars quiz answer. Like you can name it whatever you like. And then using a tool called Google Tag Manager, what you can do is you can map the individual page to a different value in the custom dimension. So if your quiz was which fruit are you, and you have a page for a banana, then you can send banana to the custom dimension. You can send orange to the custom dimension. You can send apple to the custom dimension. You get it. Now, so then what happens is when you go and look on your Google Analytics, you can just pull up this custom dimension, and instead of trying to navigate different pages and working out what's going on, it will literally just show orange, apple, banana. And you can actually create segments in your Google Analytics as well, where you can set up a condition for your segment, and you can say, right, just show me all the bananas. So you can also use that in your reports. And so you can say, right, what is the conversion rate for a banana? This is just getting really silly. So what is the conversion rate for a banana, and how far is a banana getting through the e-commerce sales process, for example? So you've actually got a report, which is the, what exactly is it called? It's the e-commerce purchase. it's like dropped out of my brain, but basically it's a graphical report that shows you like the sales funnel of your e-commerce purchases, and you can well, basically any e-commerce report at all you can segment, but you can basically segment it down to I just want to see all the bananas, and you can have up to 4 segments at a time. So you could even have, let's compare the bananas with the apples, with the oranges, with the plums or whatever, and you can actually compare the conversion rates across the board. So let's say, let's be serious now instead of fruit. So let's say you are trying to work out if someone is beginner, intermediate, or advanced, and you're selling courses or you're selling products for them. You can find out whether the total transaction value is greater or the conversion rate is greater, depending on which of those buckets they fall into. Alrighty, so once you've actually got all of that set up, you can then send it across to Google Ads. So you can create remarketing audiences based on whether someone's a banana or a pear or whatever. You can create remarketing audiences. You can create lookalike audiences. You can also create goals in Google Analytics that says that they completed the quiz and which result they got. So you can also send those goals over to Google Ads as well, so that you can find out how many conversions you had in each area. And also, given that you most likely set up the custom dimension with Google Tag Manager, you can also use Google Tag Manager to custom send that data off to Facebook or other marketing platforms if you want to as well. So in the case of Facebook, if you wanted to identify all of your bananas, you can create a custom event where it's literally just one line of code in your Google Tag Manager. It's really simple. Once you know how to do it, you can send an event that says someone just signed up through your quiz and they were a banana. Boom. And now Facebook has that as well. So then you can target them as a Facebook audience. All right. Well, that's a whole bunch of stuff. Let me just see if there's anything else that I wrote on my notes. No, there's nothing else that I put in my notes. I've pretty much covered it all. So you can also, actually there is one other thing that I'll say. So you can, if you have any kind of custom reporting set up, you can pull custom dimensions into custom reports. So irrespective of whether you have reports in Google Analytics or if you have your reports through Google Data Studio, you can pull them into reports. And like I was saying with the remarketing audience as well, you can't directly import custom dimensions into Google Ads. You can set up a remarketing audience for each one of them and send users through that way. All right. Okay, well, I know I'm really geeking out on this one, but I think if you do have a quiz, you might as well go to the extra step of tracking the different people, because first of all, it's really interesting to see what people are doing that are coming to your website and grouping them into different segments. But second of all, if you find that a particular group is converting a lot better than everyone else, well, there's your segmentation done for you. You know who to target your marketing towards. So that becomes really powerful. If you're trying to niche down and you're not sure which niches to focus on, if you find that you have a target group which is several times more valuable than everybody else, then you know that you can niche down on that target group if you want to increase your income. Okay, well, hopefully that's helpful. And if you want to know how to do any of these things, then feel free to reach out to me. Bye. Oh, wait, before I do, if you want to subscribe to tips and tricks like this, I do recommend that you sign up for my email newsletter. So you can sign up for it if you go to my blog, which is at www.petramanos.com. There should be a ribbon across the top that you can just click subscribe and just join us that way, and you will get updates whenever I send out new tips. All right, have a good one. Bye.